Environmental management in the construction industry. Organizations of all kinds are increasingly concerned with achieving and demonstrating sound environmental performance by controlling the impacts of their activities, products, and services on the environment, consistent with their environmental policy and objectives. They do so in the context of increasingly stringent legislation and increased concern expressed by interested parties about environmental matters and sustainable development. In the construction industry, prior to the commencement of work, contractors are required to prepare a Construction Environmental Management Plan, or CEMP, detailing the environmental control measures required to mitigate environmental impacts during the construction stage of the project. Proactive organizations have adopted a systematic approach to environmental management systems as the way to effectively improve their environmental performance and its projects. In line with this approach, the CMP focus is to prevent adverse environmental impacts rather than controlling, treating, or remediating as a result of a harmful incident. What is in a Construction Environmental Management Plan? The Construction Environmental Management Plan, or CMP, is a site-specific document prepared by the contractor detailing how the environmental management requirements, as identified in the environmental conditions of approval for the project, will be implemented and managed on site. The conditions may include approval or consent or license or permit conditions for the project or contract. Typically, the contract specification for project would specify the environmental protection requirements for the development. However, in many instances, there is no any specification at all. So contractors need to identify the environmental aspects and impacts and their activities, products, or services relevant to the project will have any effect on air, water, land, or waste. The most important aspect of any environmental management plan is the environmental protection safeguards required to implement to mitigate the impacts of the construction activities. Typical environmental protection safeguards would cover the following aspects: erosion and sedimentation, water pollution, air pollution including dust and odor, noise and vibration, vegetation control, fauna, fire prevention, heritage, aboriginal and non-aboriginal, waste minimization and management, plant and equipment, site compound and working area, stockpile site, fuel and chemicals or spill management, community consultation, water sources for construction, acid sulfate soils, contaminated land, and noxious weeds. This element is the most important part of the CMP. Protection measures should detail prior, during, and post works for each environmental aspects that have the potential to harm the environment. Other aspects that the CMP should cover are contractors' environmental policy, document environmental management policy, training, awareness, and competence. Describe how the organization training policy will apply to this contract to ensure that all employees and subcontractors are aware of and adequately trained to discharge their environmental responsibilities. A specific site briefing prior to the commencement of works shall occur. Emergency response procedures on site. Describe the procedures to apply to incidents on sites such as oil or chemical spills, water and air pollutions, dumping waste to unlicensed facility. Environmental performance monitoring. The CMP shall include inspection, monitoring, and audit plan. These are essential in order to establish if the contractor's performance has achieved the project objectives. The contractor's EMP must be relevant to the site activities and effectively implemented and managed. Inspections, monitoring, and auditing will provide the basis to implement corrective action and to ensure the environmental outcomes are achieved. Preparing your own CEMP. You have few options available to get your site-specific CMP. They are: you prepare your own plan with the expertise and resources available in your organization. You hire a consultant to draft for you. You get a template from providers on the internet and you tailor the specifics of your project. This is most economical and best option. Tailoring the template by you and your team gives you ownership and understanding of the plan and confidence to implement it. The choice is yours. The bottom line is to have a plan that is easy to understand and implement, written in plain English so everyone understands it, and compliant to standards and environmental legislation. The scope of any environmental management plan will vary, depending on the nature of the environmental impacts and the contract involved.